Greetings, this is Ron Smalek, and I'm reading Mockingjay, which is the third book in the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. What follows are my thoughts chapter by chapter. Alright, so chapter 21 starts with PETA basically asking for some nightlock. Obviously, he wants to try and kill himself if they won't kill him. On television, both President Snow and President Coin basically give eulogies or say that Katniss and her team have been killed in action. The one thing I was wondering is, like, didn't they get trackers, or wouldn't District 13 know that they're not dead, either like by being able to track the hollow or their headset communicators or some way? I can't remember if it was being jammed or not, but it seems like they wouldn't be tricked for too long. So Katniss and the group basically go underground, and really this is, if you can't kind of tell by the tone of my voice, this is where I started to not like the end of this book, just because it's so very different than what I had come to like in the Hunger Games and the survival aspects. So basically, as they're going through the underground beneath the Capitol, they start to find AVOXs changing shifts, working underground, cargo trains that are moving around, and they're going from the evacuated area into a more populated area. And this was a sort of weird thing here because they talk about the fact that the pods in this section are deactivated during the day, but at night they're active, and it's like a minefield. And I had originally thought that these pods were only in the area of the Capitol that were evacuated, like being left behind for the rebels. But it almost seems like the pods have been throughout the Capitol 24/7, like they were just a part of Capitol life, and maybe no one knew that they were actually, traps in disguise. I don't know, but this is another part where Suzanne Collins, in my opinion, seems to have like a really different sense of scale and time than I do, because it says that they travel for about 6 hours underground, basically through these underground passages. And I'm like thinking, how big is this Capitol? If I'm walking across a city for 6 hours, I mean, I think I could walk several miles. So this is a huge Capitol, way bigger than I thought it was. And basically throughout this sort of travel part, PETA basically confirms that the fake images in his memory are shiny or have like a glow to them, and that's how he can start to piece apart what's real and not real for himself. And of course, at the end of this chapter, there needs to be a tense moment where basically they hear a hissing sound. At first I thought it was gas, but then of course the sound resolves itself into Katniss's name. Chapter 22, we find out there are some creatures coming to get Katniss, and PETA begins reacting to her name as well, so it's starting to irritate him. He's starting to, get anxious, like he's going to go after her again. Then she starts to smell the roses, and they find out that they're being tracked by some kind of weird lizard men. Now, they get to a point where a bunch of peacekeepers come and basically cut off their retreat, and they're going to get captured or attacked or whatnot. Luckily, these mutts, these mutations, come from the side, and not being able to tell the difference between humans, they attack the peacekeepers, which gives Katniss and her team a chance to slip away. Gale is bitten during this part, and actually Finnick is left behind. He basically fights so they can get away, and he gets killed. And this really weird thing happens. I had to actually reread the end of chapter 22 3 times because Katniss gets like flashbacks of Finnick's life when he dies, and Suzanne Collins, the author, seems to make this part intentionally strange. And I even having finished the book, I have no idea what this was supposed to symbolize. It doesn't seem to come back. She doesn't seem to have this power with anyone else, so I don't know what that was about. I guess PETA, the note that I have here is that Katniss awakens PETA with a kiss. I think that's when she brings him back to remembering who he is. So, And I think Gale being bitten as well doesn't really ever come back and become important to the rest of the book. So